Alright, I'm going to start live streaming a Diablo 3 GR 99 and above using a cold Impale Demon Hunter. And maybe people will watch my stream, maybe they won't, whatever, but I'm going to do this anyway. So I'm just going to quickly go over my gear here. This is the new, one of the new things that Blizzard implemented for weapon damage and things like that. And so this is working off pretty well. I got some primal stuff here and just generalized things that I need to change inside the inside here because I want to see what the difference is between this and that. So let's see what happens. And to all of you watching, thanks for viewing if you do. Level 100. I'm also going to be pointing out some stuff in this that I just think is quite amusing. For when people have problems with a greater rift, people are so quick to point out what they're doing wrong instead of actually taking a look at the situation that the player is being put into. It's never it's always the player's fault. So I'm gonna point some stuff out about why I'm playing the way I am and things like that. So first of all, most people are like, well, why are you killing these little mobs? Because I've encountered, it's very simple, I've encountered greater rifts where there's very few elite packs in them, and it's like, oh, I'd like to see that, and people are just dumb and that think that can't happen. So there's an elite pack down there, so. But also, by killing the little enemies around it, you can actually take out the elites a lot better. Like these Lucani Huntresses, they're probably part of the elite pack, but the fact of the matter is they force you to move so you can't sit still long enough. Almost every single elite pack in here is arcane enchanted, so you can't sit for too long. People are like, why don't you just kill these things? It doesn't quite work that way. And the gaming community is so quick to make excuses for people. If you take a look at the timer on my Greater Rift right now, it's behind. And I just got killed by a Lucani Huntress. And that's why you have to kill all these little guys, because if you don't, they sucker shot you when you're getting hit by other things. So you have to kill off all these little guys if you want to basically survive. People will say, oh, that's not true. Yes, it actually is true. And notice how conveniently the arcane beam is inside the inside where I need to actually stand. One of the problems with arcane in this game is that once you kill the enemy that chucked out the arcane beam itself doesn't disappear like it really should. Arcane enemies go through the ground, beams go through the walls, but you can't shoot through the wall or see the enemy, but the arcane beams can do it, and just a bunch of ridiculous things that don't make any sense. Also, I have Bane of the Powerful, which is why I need to kill every single elite in a pack. You're like, why don't you just move on? Because I need the damage bonus off of that, that's why. I'm also going to point out that most of the elites have shield or wall on them. Shield, wall, and arcane. So, I've made a few videos about this before, and everybody's still like, oh, you didn't position yourself right. As if positioning yourself is going to cause them to not shield themselves or spawn with shields or something like that. So when you're trying to hit these guys with the shields, what's happening is they're blocking the guys behind you. Behind them they need to hit. So those guys are technically shielded because of the other guy's shields. So yeah, you can reposition yourself over and over and over again, but the fact remains is that you can't hit anything that's shielded. There's nothing you're going to be able to do. Yeah, so I have like 3 minutes. Alright. Notice how that's Arcane Enchanted again. So far I've had 2 Arcane Elite Enchanted packs. Again, Arcane Enchanted. This is the 3rd Arcane Enchanted pack. Unless you have like a pylon or something activated right now, you're gonna get killed by it. You can't sit still really long enough to get around this. Another problem is that all the minions don't need to have Arcane on them either. Only the boss should. Because if you got like 8 minions all Arcane Enchanted, you might as well just leave that Arcane, that Elite pack alone. The other problem that you have is that if you leave that pack alone, you wind up wasting time trying to find another Elite pack, so the Elite pack you just killed makes up for the time difference, and you actually don't gain anything. So you would have been better off just standing, killing them anyway. Because at least that way your time frame would have been caught up for the next Elite pack. The problem is you don't know when the next Elite pack is going to be. Needed to get that Bane of the Bane of the Powerful back up. No, I was going the right way. I guarantee you the next Elite pack I'm going to wind up with is going to have like walls. There they are, Arcane Enchanted again. So if you move out of the way of the Arcane beams, they start shooting mortars at you. And then you can't stand there long enough to do much, so you... See? This is why you need to kill off every one of these little guys. See, I don't know how I just took that much. I literally, I wasn't even near anything, and all of a sudden I almost just died. I have no idea what the hell is hitting me. What I get a kick out of is that, it's most of the time when you get a shield pylon, they don't have Arcane on them. I mean, occasionally they do, but it's most of the time. They put up walls on you, so you can't hit them. So these walls that are being, thrown together are blocking other enemies from being hit, and then the other enemies are blocking you from hitting the enemy that's throwing up the walls. But yeah, that's the player's fault according to people. Like, you should just have more damage on it. Like, that's gotta matter. So I just think it's funny how people think that more damage is the answer to this. The logic behind that is just idiotic because they, I get where people are coming from. It's like, well, you can just kill them. The fact of the matter is, if you can't hit them, it doesn't matter how much damage you're doing. Well, you can just reposition yourself. Yep, we're just going to go in circles with that conversation. How did that fallen shaman get through? Like, I'm pummeling billions and trillions of damage at these things, and a fallen shaman survives. I'm using cold impale over penetration, and fallen shamans just don't somehow just magically survive the onslaught. If I don't get rid of these fallen shaman, what's going to happen is they're going to just be shooting fireballs at me. So I can't sit still to kill these guys. See, how did he get through all this? How did this one get through that? There's like a couple fallen shamans that should have been dead by the amount of damage I'm pummeling through these things using over penetration, and yet they survive with almost full health.
The Rift Guardian has arrived.
Need more time.
Yeah, and another thing I find hilarious is that the people who think that, you know, even these end bosses, oh, you know, I could take him out in 45 seconds. Yep. So, I'm going to go through this again, and maybe the next time I go through this, I'll get a better rift, because that's something that people don't explain. And you'll see somebody on the leaderboard that did, you know, really well. But what they failed to explain is they probably went through about fucking 200 greater rifts of that level before they found the one that they could do. So people always act like, oh, you know, it's the player's fault that they can't do it, or that's total crap. That's not even close. So it's kind of interesting to watch that. Maybe that's a primal. I doubt it, but find out. Alright, Paragon level 1653. Let's see here. Nope, no primal. Let's see, anything else? Alright, so now I'm going to swap off to Lightning Impale and see what happens. Alright, so let's see if this does any different. See if this, the difference between these is any different.
I am too low on discipline. I'm still waiting. I need more time. I'm still waiting.
It's too bad there's no way to actually go through and undo this particular thing to restart. To see if these same types of enemies would come up if I still had Cold Impale, or would it be something different? Kind of makes you wonder if the game is drawing the, or spawning what's in a greater rift according to your gear or what you have, you know, what type of build you have. Wouldn't surprise me.
I feel better now. Not ready yet.
That was just a phase. I must heal.
I need more time. I'm still waiting.
Oops.
Not ready yet. I need more time.
I require aid.
I'm still
I
waiting.
need healing.
I need. Not ready yet.
Yeah, I'm just not sure if I want Cold or Lightning.
I need more time. I'm still waiting. Not ready yet. I feel better now. I'm still waiting.
I'm injured.
I need more time. Not ready yet. I need more time. Not ready yet.
I'm injured.
I'm still waiting. I need more time.
Vengeance.
Not ready yet.
There should be plenty of elites out here, or ways to get elite packs to show up. Another thing I find interesting is how off of these pylons, mainly it's always Dune Dervishes, and this guy that's a Juggernaut. Or it spawns like 19 guys, not 19, but it spawns like 7 to 8 enemies, and they like all have these special abilities on them. Like mainly arcane, so you spawn an arcane boss, and then all 7 minions have arcane on them, and they're all spamming it all over the place.
I'm still waiting. Need more time. I'm still waiting. Need more time. Not ready yet.
Vengeance!
Need more time.
Yeah, so like I said, one of the things that you want to do is clear out all these little enemies first, even though people say that's a waste of time. Yeah, but these little enemies get in the way of you hitting these enemies. So if I didn't do that, now watch, see if these are going to be arcane enchanted. No. But if I didn't just kill all those other little enemies, they would have followed me up here. And then I wouldn't have been able to take out half of these guys as I'm doing it now.
Heal me!
Not ready yet. Need more time.
I think it's also funny how it keeps pulling you up towards other enemies because you took out the other ones. It has to put me upward. It can't put me downward. It has to put me up near other enemies.
My strength is back.
That was just a taste!
Need more time. Not ready yet. I'm still waiting.
betrays you.
I need more time. I'm not ready yet.
Guardian has come.
I'm still waiting. I'm not ready yet. I'm still waiting. I need more time. I'm still waiting. I'm here to help. Yes.
Done.
Well, that's it on this stream. Take care. Thanks for watching, whoever tunes in later on. Later.